welcome back. I hope you are having a wonderful day. In previous videos, we already reviewed my recommendations on how to tab the ICD-10 CM and PCS books. And today I would like to continue with the CPT coding book. What do I do there? Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Here is my CPT book fully tabbed for 2022. I am mainly using the official tabs that arrived with the book, with some post-it notes on the side. You can find these official tabs on the first page. And what you might immediately notice is that I barely used any of them. I still have a lot left for appendices, for surgical sections and whatnot. And the reason behind is that I don't like to overwhelm the books with all the tabs I am given, because I'm not trying to catalog what's inside the book. I'm trying to refer to places inside the book that will help me. So by omitting all these additional tabs that I don't need, I can focus on tabs I do need. So how do I find the different surgical sections in the book? We just have to work with whatever the CPT book already gives us. You obviously notice that there are color codes on the side. And not just that, but the color codes also contain little white patches for us, and these can work as built-in tabs. So instead of adding a lot of stuff to your book, I recommend you just simply learn which color means whichever section, and then use these white tabs to turn there. If you are looking for the digestive system, here is your tab, here is your color. You are looking for the radiology section, here is your tab, here is your color, and so on. I admit that it won't work every single time, but we will mention that in just a second. Okay, so let's start with the tabs on the side. The first tab for me is a clear yellow one. It leads to the medical decision-making tables within the evaluation and management guidelines. This one is for the new 2021 rules. You know, it's still a bit fresh in my mind, so I prefer adding a tab for quick reference to be able to check my work. The next tab is also yellow. It reads Gen. This one leads me to the general surgical section to fine needle aspiration biopsies. And this is the first instance where using the color codes is not gonna work, because the general surgical section is the same color as the integumentary section. Moreover, it is only 2 pages long. So even if I try to use the white little patches on the side, it would be very unfair towards myself to try to find it just from here. And you know, no system is perfect, and I admit that. So here is an additional Gen tab for reference. The same goes for the respiratory system. It says RESP on the tab. This one marks the spot where the musculoskeletal system ends and the respiratory system starts. Again, the same problem, both of them are yellow. Moving forward to the next section, I have this tab titled Pacer. This one is for the pacemaker placement table. I feel that it's much easier to find the appropriate code from this table and then go over to the long text format descriptions and check the code there. And also from the cardiovascular system, my next tab says Cath. This is for selective and non-selective catheterizations for code range starting at 36 to 100. On a related note, I am also reminding myself with my tabs that not all catheterizations will be performed with these codes. There are some additional ones in the medicine section. This tab reads PCI and leads to the coronary therapeutic services and procedures. You know, these are the angioplasties and stent placements in the heart vessels. And last but not least, of course, I also have my alphabetical index markings on the side. These are just normal post-it markings from A to Z. I prefer coding from the index and not using process of elimination or any other trick when I am taking an exam. For more information on that, please see my other video up in the corner or in the description below, where I share my 5 most unusual study tips for medical coding students. And with that, we have reviewed the tabs on the side. Let's see what we have on top. The first tab here says EM and leads me to the evaluation and management tables. I feel this is the most specific, easiest and fastest way to choose the appropriate level of service within the appropriate EM category. If you are not really familiar with these tables or not confident in using them, please see my dedicated explanatory video on the channel or in the description below. Next, I have the tab for the Category 3 codes. These are codes for new technology, and the problem is similar to what we already had with the respiratory system and general surgery. Both the Category 3 codes and the Category 2 codes are marked in the same color. And from here we are going into appendix territory. The first appendix tab here, of course, is for the modifiers, because it's always good to be able to quickly reference and review what modifiers mean. But after this, to be honest, I am not really tabbing anything else until Appendix L. And the reason for that is that in an exam situation or during everyday life coding, I don't feel the need to know where the additions, deletions, and revisions are. I don't really need clinical examples or none of that stuff. What I do need is Appendix L for the vascular families for catheterization coding. This is definitely something you want to tab. After this appendix, again, comes some other appendices that I don't use in everyday life. You might want to tab them. The only exception following Appendix L might be Appendix R for Digital Medicine Services Taxonomy. This is a new appendix. I don't know if this shows up in the CPC or other exams or not. I really don't know. I took my exam years ago, right? So I don't know how much exposure you have to this or how much they expect you to know this. Maybe add a tab for Appendix R. And if you are not familiar with what this is, also please see my dedicated video up in the corner or in the description below. And after the appendices, I only have two more tabs on the top. The first one leads me to the anesthesiology codes within the index. As I mentioned, I prefer coding from here because I believe that this is faster and more precise. And the last tab in my book is for pathology and laboratory codes, again within the index. As you can see, it has its own index entry, pathology and laboratory. If I am looking for an albumin test or hormone test or anything like that, this is the easiest way for me to find it. And finally, as always, I have my favorite paperclip on the bottom. This is how I mark where my notes are, and I prefer doing it this way instead of having tabs on the side because it saves me a lot of space, and paper clips also don't get torn or hurt as I am traveling with my book. And that's it. I hope it was helpful. For more coding help and information, please see my channel or this upcoming video.